To order. This is the regular session 10 of the legislature. We're at the Kiowa Complex, Carnegie. It is now 9:19. Do I have a volunteer for the invocation, please? Anita.
Oh, yes. Let's say the prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you this morning. We thank you for this day. We thank you that everyone is here, Lord, and you're in good health, Lord. We thank you for this legislative session. We thank you that we're here for the Kiowa people. We ask you to be with us, give us wisdom and knowledge, Lord. Let us approach this with kindness in our hearts, Lord. We ask you to be with all those that are in mourning today. We ask you to be with our people that are sick, those that are in the hospital, those that are in the military, Lord, serving our country. We ask you to be with the leadership of our tribe, be with those that are leading our state, those that are leading our country. All of these things, Lord, we thank you for and ask these blessings in our Lord Jesus Christ's holy precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Anita. I'd like to welcome the Kiowa tribe. If anybody is on the Facebook Live, this is a cold morning. We're all here. Rhonda, please call the roll for us.
Renee Plata,
Here.
Rhonda Ahady here, Ron Kula,
Here.
Dave Gimsaddle,
Here.
Anita Uncle Johnson,
Here.
Modena Waters,
Here.
Ben Wolf,
Here.
all present, quorum established.
Thank you, Rhonda. Okay, the agenda. Do I have a motion for the agenda?
Make a motion. We approve the agenda.
Accept that motion.
Thank you. Call the roll. Rhonda, please.
Renee Plata,
Yes.
Rhonda Ahady, yes. Ron Kula,
Yes.
Dave Gimsaddle,
Yes.
Anita Johnson,
Yes.
Modena Waters,
Yes.
Ben Wolf.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstains, 0 absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, so we have the minutes from the January 13th meeting, session number 9. Rhonda, would you read those minutes for us? Thank you.
Regular session 9 of the legislature, Kiowa Tribe Complex, January 13th, 2018, 9 o'clock a.m. minutes. Meeting was called to order by Renee Plata, legislator, speaker of the Kiowa Tribe Legislature, called to order at 9:10 a.m. Invocation was given by Modena Waters of the legislature. Roll call legislators present: Dave Gimsaddle, Rhonda Ahady, Renee Plata, Ron Pula, Anita Uncle Johnson, Modena Waters, Ben Wolf, all present, quorum established. Approval of agenda. Motion was made by Rhonda Ahady to approve the agenda, seconded by Anita Uncle Johnson. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstains, 0 absent. Approval of meeting minutes. Modena Waters makes a motion to approve the minutes for legislature session 8, December 9th, 2017, seconded by Ron Pula, Senior. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstains, 0 absent. Old business. Anita Uncle Johnson makes a motion to approve resolution KLCY 2018-001, authorization to conduct business with the Office of Special Trustee for American Indians with Corrections, seconded by Ben Wolf. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstains, 0 absent. Renee Plata makes a motion to approve resolution KLCY 2018-002, Nepotism Act of 2018, added 1.4A stepchildren and legally adopted in the first degree, with corrections added, seconded by Ben Wolf. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstains, 0 absent. Rhonda Ahady makes a motion to approve resolution KLCY 2018 2018-003 Economic Development Due Diligence Act of 2018 to include all to the purchase with corrections, seconded by Modena Waters. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstained, 0 absent. Renee Plata makes a motion to approve Resolution KLCY 2018-004, the Executive, Legislative, and Judicial Branch Contract Authority Act of 2018. Seconded by Anita Uncle Johnson. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 1 abstention. Anita Uncle Johnson makes a motion to approve Resolution KLCY 2018-005, Kiowa Casino Operations Authority Reporting and Charter Modification Act of 2018, seconded by Renee Plata. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstained, 0 absent. New business, no new business. Adjourn. Rhonda Ahady makes a motion to adjourn at 10:55 a.m., seconded by Renee Plata. Motion carries 7-4, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Rhonda. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Yes, there is, Speaker, I was looking at approval minutes, is that, we're on regular session, should that be January 13th, 2018?
I'm sorry, which,
On the agenda, and I was reading the approval of the lower agenda, it says approval of minutes. But it says December the 9th, 2017, should that have been changed, or maybe I'm getting that wrong?
Yeah, on the agenda, it should have been, that's wrong, it should have been January the 13th.
where are you seeing that? Under number
On
5? Yes.
Number 5,
Oh,
Bring it to
so
attention
this
just
is
now.
on,
should be for January.
okay, so that's on the agenda,
Yes.
not the minutes.
Right.
Okay, so,
Was that correct?
not
You're
exactly.
correct.
It's just the date is wrong,
Yeah, right.
so it should be January 13th. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Call the vote, Rhonda.
Renee Plata,
Yes.
Rhonda Ahady, yes. Ron Pula,
Yes.
Dave Gilsell,
Yes.
Anita Uncle Johnson,
Yes.
Modena Waters, Ben Wolf,
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 0 absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Rhonda. All right, item 6 is old business, and these are, the first one is the Territory Expansion Act. Is that correct, Tracy, on the, when that was posted? Has that only been posted 1 month?
Yes.
It wasn't originally posted,
No.
the other month. So Rhonda, since, this is important to Hobart and the casino and our Indian City property going into trust, I would like, the resolution read, and then the act itself, which is just really 1 page, so it's not, basically 2 pages to read for, to read into the record, for the tribe.
Okay. The Territory, Kiowa Tribe Resolution, this will be Resolution KLCY 2018-007. That's KLCY 2018-007. Territory Expansion Act of 2018. At a duly called session of the legislature of the Kiowa Tribe held this 10th day of February 2018, the following resolution and law were adopted. Whereas the legislature is vested with the authority to pass laws and resolutions pursuant to Article 6, Section 6A of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, and whereas historically the Kiowa Tribe controlled vast areas of land that sustain the people. However, over time, the tribe's land base has been greatly diminished by harmful federal laws and policies, fraudulent transfers, and theft. And whereas the legislature finds that it is in the best interest of the tribe to acquire additional lands, including available allotments, in order to expand the tribe's land base and territory, and to request BIA to place such lands into trust status for the tribe. Now therefore be it resolved that the legislature hereby enacts the attached law entitled Territory Expansion Act of 2018. And now the summary of the act. Section 1.1 short title. This enactment shall be known as the Territory Expansion Act of 2018. Section 1.2 the purpose. The purpose of this act is to authorize and direct the chairman of the Kiowa tribe to take all steps necessary to acquire additional lands for the tribe, including lands identified in and around Hobart, Oklahoma, and to request the BIA to place such lands into trust status with the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs, BIA, for the benefit of the tribe. Section 1.3 findings. The legislature hereby finds and declares that A. Historically, the Kiowa tribe controlled vast areas of land that sustained the people. However, over time, the tribe's land base has been greatly diminished by harmful federal laws and policies, fraudulent transfers, and theft. And B. It is in the best interest of the tribe to acquire additional lands, including available allotments, in order to expand the tribe's land base and territory, and to request BIA to place such lands into trust status for the tribe. C. The tribe has identified lands in and around Hobart, Oklahoma, Hobart lands, and those lands should be acquired and placed into trust by the BIA for the benefit of the tribe. D. The tribe owns land at Indian City located near Anadarko, Oklahoma, Indian City land that should be placed into trust by the BIA for the benefit of the tribe. Section 1.4 land into trust. A. The chairman or his designee is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to expand the tribe's land base and territory by acquiring the Hobart lands, and to request the BIA to place the Hobart lands into trust status for the benefit of the tribe and the people. B. The chairman or his designee is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to expand the tribe's land base and territory, and to request the BIA to place the Indian City land into trust status for the benefit of the tribe and the people. C. The chairman is hereby authorized and directed to sign all necessary documents and take all steps necessary to effectuate the intent of this act. D. The legislature hereby authorizes the appropriation of funds to be included in an annual budget budget modification to carry out this act.
All right. On this act, Tracy, when was it originally posted? So we have a January 11th date. I know this has been pending for longer than that. I believe it was December 12th.
No, we posted it on the 11th, because I put this on the day that we got it. The other one was December 12th, was the budget modification.
Okay, all right, you're right. Thank you. All right, so any discussion on the act itself? This is basically, we're asking the chairman under a law to proceed forward to acquire the lands that have been identified to the tribe to place a casino in that area. So this has been on the table for 10 years, or I believe close to 10 years, maybe not quite so long. But the project, I understand he has, there is an official letter. Was that given to the KCOA or is that to the BIA?
That was given to the BIA.
This week, wasn't it? So we have an official letter that has gone to the Bureau of Indian Affairs for the chairman. He has done this to all other work regarding the Hobart application. is being done and is almost completed. So do you want to expand on that in any way, Ben?
Well, I think the Hobart community is pretty excited about it. We look forward to the promising of new jobs for the community until it was put on hold, but now with the letter putting it back into the motion of getting fee to trust, it's looks good.
Good. And we'll be keeping an eye on this process and reporting to the tribe on this as we move along. Yes, Modena.
I wonder if we could add under section 1.2, since we identify Hobart, either Indian City or Anadarko, Oklahoma, since we do include it at the bottom portion.
What was that? Can you repeat that, Modena?
Okay. in
So you
section-
want to make an amendment to this under the purpose?
Yes, just there. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have no problem
Anita,
with that.
under section 1.2, we have Hobart, Oklahoma. Should we have Indian City or Anadarko, Oklahoma also there? Because if you just look at that, it looks like we're only dealing with Hobart.
Yeah. Under findings, it's listed and included in section or item D.
It does say that in item D, and I think is there somewhere else? So would you like to amend it?
Yes.
So are you making a motion, and could I have the exact language you're
Yes.
talking about?
Excuse me, Modena, also in section 1.4, A, it only has Hobart. So if we're gonna add
Okay,
BIA, in the city to
okay.
top, we should probably.
So, okay, so on the top, after Hobart, Oklahoma, in the third line, and to include Indian City, Anadarko, Oklahoma?
No, just and,
And Indian
not
City.
including this.
Okay,
and.
so tell me what
Okay,
you want to amend and how the exact language.
well, I need you guys' help. Should we say Anadarko, Oklahoma, or just Indian City?
Okay, so,
Because all it says, okay, Anadarko is, yeah,
in and around Hobart, Oklahoma and Anadarko, Oklahoma,
yes.
in the purpose, okay, so we would do that.
And then on section, as Rhonda pointed out,
It'll come in when everything's ready for that. Okay, and then where else would you like to amend it?
Rhonda, thank you for pointing out under section 1.4, acquiring Hobart lands and Anadarko lands. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so where do you want that to appear?
After the word Hobart
Okay,
and Anadarko lands.
Is this on
okay,
the,
there's, in
land and
section
trust?
A, there's two
Yeah.
places where it says Hobart, so.
Oh, okay, yes. Hobart and Anadarko lands.
Same information, two places.
So you want that in two places by a crop?
Yes,
so in the purpose and on the landed trust,
yes,
because C, 1.3C addresses Hobart.
yes.
So just those two places, okay. Well, it's got it on B.
All right,
Modena, it's got it 1.4B.
it is in there for Indian City under point B.
Right.
So
So we
I
don't
don't
need to put
would
on there.
think it would need under A. Under A states on Hobart, number B states on Indian City. And then it further
Oh, okay.
states that the chairman go ahead and sign, whatever
Okay.
the documents.
So it just needs to
So
go
I
in the
think it
purpose.
just needs to go in the purpose perhaps. Is that how you want to amend it?
Yeah. Yes,
Do you have a motion to that?
I would like to make a motion to amend the Territory Expansion Act of 2018 to include in section 1.2 purpose, adding after the third line, Oklahoma and Anadarko, Oklahoma.
Do we have that? Do we have a second? Do we have that? Excuse me.
Well, they
On
have
the, on
Hobart.
the, okay, wait, on section A, okay, as Indian City. So, all right, so,
I don't want that. I want Anadarko.
so you don't want to state
I-
Indian City?
Oh, we could, but,
I mean, that's very,
Hobart.
On the purpose, Hobart and Indian City of Anadarko.
yeah, that would be okay.
so right in front of the Anadarko, Oklahoma, put Indian City.
Anadarko.
Indian City in Anadarko, Oklahoma.
Indian City.
Okay, so please change the
Okay.
motion. Excuse me, is
I
every,
changed the motion.
okay, wait a
again.
minute, excuse me. So is there more discussion, Miss Anita?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a little bit more discussion.
Why don't you just put the purpose of this act is to authorize and direct the chairman of the Kiowa tribe to take all steps necessary to acquire additional lands for the tribe, including lands identified in and around Hobart and Anadarko, Oklahoma.
That was
That's
what I wanted
was the
originally.
first one.
Yeah, that was what I wanted.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
we really have a
That's-
motion on the table right now. And so do I have a second for that? Because I thought discussion closed, but we can go back to the discussion before the vote. So do I have a second to the motion that, to approve the Territory Expansion Act of 2018, and amend with correction, section 1.2, the purpose, and to include after Oklahoma on the third line, Anadarko, Oklahoma. That it was your motion.
Yes, and
Is that what you're seconding?
Anadarko, Oklahoma.
Okay, so do we have a second on that motion?
Wait a minute. I want to know, does Anita, is that how you suggested if you modified how you read it a moment ago? Because I think it's good. I mean, I'm not opposing
Just
that.
kind of
Okay, right now, the motion is only for and Anadarko, Oklahoma. This is the motion
That I made.
that Modena makes. Do I have a second to the motion? You want to second that? Okay. All right. Okay, so we have, is there, okay, so we have Modena making the motion to include and Anadarko, Oklahoma in section 1.2, and we have a second by Ben. So is there more discussion? No more discussion called.
I would like to clarify that, on the Anadarko specific Indian City, and that's not gonna be included in that.
No, you made a motion only for the Anadarko, Oklahoma. So if this is not what you really want to do in the vote, please reflect that.
The motion is to include Hobart, Oklahoma, and Indian City.
No, it wasn't in Indian City.
And Anadarko.
The original is and Oklahoma and
Well,
Clarify that Indian City of Anadarko.
no, because it talks about down here.
okay, discussion one at a time. Do you have more discussion on it, Ben, that you're not clear with that?
We could,
Okay, we have a motion on the table that you made. We either kill it by a vote or move past it and change the correction or however you want to do it. But the motion says we include after Oklahoma,
The original.
the correction is, or the amendment is, and Anadarko, Oklahoma. You seconded that, Ben. Are you good?
I would like to kill.
You can't change the motion, we can vote on it. Okay, that'll determine whether it passes. If somebody wants to change afterwards, then make the correct change by amending it exactly the way you want to do that. And we can discuss that here. So are we ready to call the vote? Are y'all ready? No more discussion, we're ready. Please call the vote for the Territory Expansion Act, including Section 1.2 after Oklahoma and Anadarko, Oklahoma. Please call the roll on that, Rhonda.
Renee Platta,
No.
Rhonda Ahady, no. Ron Kula,
No.
Dave Gibasell,
No.
Anita Johnson.
No.
Wadena Waters,
yes.
Ben Wolf.
Yes.
We have 2 yes, 5 no, 0 abstains, 0 absent, motion fails.
Okay, so do we want to start over with how we want to amend that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's have the discussion first. So what we want to do is to identify in the purpose that we not only want the lands in and around Hobart, Oklahoma, but also to include Indian City in the purpose. And that is at Anadarko. So no, you're not. Somebody can make a motion.
Go ahead, Anita.
You're the one that,
You don't want to
My
put,
suggestion was just to add an and Anadarko after Hobart. Take out the comma and put and Anadarko, comma, Oklahoma.
you make that a motion.
you want to,
That was my
you
suggestion.
can make, okay. Well, the motion
Go
was
ahead.
already on the table, so
It's dead.
that failed.
I make the motion that we, in the section 1.2, we add after Hobart the word and, take out the comma, word and Anadarko, comma, Oklahoma.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? Is everybody kind of clear on that? We want to basically include Anadarko, that the purpose of this act, because we go into, this is trust land that needs to be, Indian City we want to put in. So we want to make a clarification. So are we ready to vote on that? We have a motion made by Anita, seconded by myself. Territory Expansion Act of 2018, to amend under section 1.2 purpose on the third line where we have Hobart, delete the comma, and Anadarko. Those are the 2 words we want to insert, comma, Oklahoma. Call the vote.
Renee Platta,
Yes.
Rhonda Ahady, yes. Ron Kula,
Yes.
Dave Gibasell,
Yes.
Anita Uncle Johnson,
Yes.
Wadena Waters,
Yes.
Ben Wolf.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 0 absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, so our next very important part of our business this morning is that we need a budget modification to the annual budget appropriation for fiscal year 2017-18. So this is our 2018 budget. We do know that anytime we get grants or additional monies, they must be identified. So there are some additional monies, and then the legislature is in need of money for legal fees, is one of the main things. Other than that, we have identified cash, and we want those grants that we need carryover funds from 2016, over $800,000 for Head Start. We want that to be a legal process under the tribe. We understand the chairman has already signed a contract for the modular buildings that will be placed in Lawton, Anadarko, and here in Carnegie. So those funds are from a carryover grant that started available in 16, 17, and now 18. We're making that approval. He has already signed a contract, and partially the grant was pulled down for 400, I believe 17,000 already paid on those three modular buildings. Now, to make that legal with the tribe, this is why we're doing the budget modification. So we have some other monies that the chairman stated in the newsletter, and I believe that was last month's newsletter maybe, that he has received monies from, I believe it was an oil company, I'm not sure of that name, $100,000 for higher education. No monies can really be spent until they're revealed to the tribe and the tribe votes on them. So we are new in the process. The executive team branch is new. So to make, I'm not sure if any funds have been spent. They may have been allocated for higher education. It's going to be for the postgraduate studies is what I'm understanding. I don't believe those tribal members have ever been helped financially by the tribe. So not knowing where the money comes from, but certainly that we have members of the tribe seeking higher postgraduate, master's degree, PhDs. There's something else. We are going to read this law so that the tribe can familiarize themselves of how important this budget modification is for not only the grants to be legal for the chairman to be spending them, but also we as the legislature needs money. One of the most important things is our judicial branch. We have identified monies to fund the judicial branch. They are prepared to go forward, but we need monies to place them in a secure place. So we have several things that we consider as priorities. Social services is always a priority. Our tribe needs help everywhere across all 7 districts. $100,000 was appropriated and approved by the tribe for the whole year That money has been used. So we decided that one of the important things that we should do is give them another 100,000. Our election commission has already in their budget had already used all the money that was scheduled for elections. So we didn't have election for 4 years. Now we've had one 3 years, 3 times, and we're going to have 3 more because this will require an election, a special election under this budget modification. And then we will have a primary for District 4, 1, and number 3. And also the chairman and vice chairman will come up under that primary. Those 2 slots will be available. So we have to have a primary, and then we will, depending on how that comes out in the primary, if there is if there's only 2 if there's a runoff, that will take it to the general election. So we have to prepare for 3 elections.
But the general will include the candidacy resolutions? The primary won't include the general?
Yes, and under the general, we'll have the 2019 budget, and we'll also have the issues or what is being called the resolutions that will appear through the KIC coordinator, and that will appear on the general. So we need this money. This is good for the tribe. This is adding to the budget. We couldn't help everybody. We're helping the election commission, social services, alcohol and drug treatment, the finance department, the AOA. We're going to give them a little money here. I will have Rhonda read this whole thing. It's not really that long. We have the resolution, and then we have basically 1, 2, 3 pages to read into the record. And so please read that bill, Rhonda, for us, please.
The Kiowa Tribe resolution number, it will be KLCY 2018-008. That's KLCY 2018-008. First modification to the annual budget appropriation for fiscal year 2017-2018. At a duly called session of the legislature of the Kiowa Tribe held this 10th day of February 2018, the following resolution and law were adopted. Whereas the legislature is vested with the authority to pass an annual budget and budget modifications for the tribe pursuant to the legislative process and subject to approval by the voters. And whereas the voters of the tribe recently approved a new constitution for the tribe, which requires an annual budget and any budget modifications to be approved by the legislature and chairman with final approval by the voters. And whereas the first legislature elected under the new constitution recently approved by veto override the first annual budget for the tribe. After many years of governmental gridlock, and the voters granted final approval of the first annual budget by a vote of 706 yes and 238 no, which is 74% approval. And whereas the legislature has identified the need to enact a modification to the first annual budget to include previously identified revenue and expenditures, including newly received grant funds, and to address finding shortfalls. Now therefore it resolved that the legislature hereby enacts the attached first modification to the annual budget for fiscal year 2017-2018, subject to final approval by the voters. rid of my cough drop.
All right.
Section 1.1, short title. The enactment shall be known as the first modification to the annual budget for fiscal year 2017-2018 budget modification. Number 1. Section 1.2, purpose. The purpose of this act is to approve the first modification to the annual budget for fiscal year 2017-2018, subject to final approval by the voters. Section 1.3, findings. The legislature hereby finds and declares that A, the legislature is vested with the authority to pass an annual budget and budget modifications for the tribe, subject to approval by the voters. Excuse me. B, the voters of the tribe recently approved a new constitution for the tribe, which requires an annual budget and any budget modifications to be approved by the legislature and chairman with final approval by the voters. C, the first legislature elected under the new constitution recently approved by veto override the first annual budget for the tribe, first annual budget after many years of governmental gridlock, and the voters granted final approval of the first annual budget by a vote of 706 yes and 238 no, 74% approval. Exhibit A, first annual budget attached hereto. And D, the legislature has identified the need to enact a modification to the first annual budget to include previously unidentified revenue and expenditures, including newly received grant funds, and to address additional funding needs. Can I go ahead and let Anita read the rest?
Are you good with that? Okay, so Anita is gonna go ahead and read from, if you're following along on that, Tracy, do y'all have a copy of that budget modification?
I'm sorry, I have a sore throat. I'm kind of struggling, so
So where are you?
Anita,
Okay, so
section
section
1.4.
1.4, I would love you to have this, Keith and Diana. So you can follow along this budget modification. So we're under the short title where it says that. There's the 3 back pages. Section 1.4 is where we're at. The approval of the first modification to the annual budget for fiscal year 2017-18, section 1.4. If Anita can proceed, since Rhonda's having a problem, you need some water? Okay.
Here we
All
go.
right.
The legislature hereby approves the first modification to the annual budget for fiscal year 2017-2018, subject to final approval by the voters as listed below under revenue in subsection A and expenses in subsections B, C, D, and E. A, revenue. Under revenue in the annual budget, the following modifications shall be approved. 1, revenue generated from federal grants funds shall be increased by $851,706 for use by the Head Start program. 2, revenue generated from land leases and related matters shall be increased by $100,000 for use by the Education Department. 3, revenue generated from the Gaming Commission shall be increased by $200,000. 4, revenue generated from the Tribal Casino Gaming Authority, KCOA, shall be increased by $500,000. And 5, revenue generated from the transportation program for 2016, 2017, and 2018 shall be increased by $300,000 for a total increase in revenue of $1,951,706, and the Gaming Commission shall immediately transfer such funds to the treasury of the tribe, and the KCOA shall immediately transfer such funds to the treasury of the tribe in 2 equal monthly installments. B, Executive Branch. Under the general budget, the Indian self-determination contracts, PL 93-638, and or other government programs as listed in the annual budget, an appropriation of funds shall be increased and or approved in the total amount of $1,597,706 as follows. 1, or I, Head Start, $851,706 for the purchase of modular units for the Head Start program, and $90,000 for water line and other permitted uses for the full amount of the grant funds received for such purposes, whichever is higher. 2, Education Department, $100,000 for higher education scholarships for post-undergraduate studies for eligible members of the tribe. 3, Election Commission, $90,000 for the Election Commission to pay for additional special elections and for other election and election commission related expenses. 4, Social Services Department, $100,000 for distribution to eligible members of the tribe in accordance with the Emergency Assistance Fund Regulation and Fairness Act as amended. 5, Alcohol and Drug Treatment Program, $10,000 for the Alcohol and Drug Treatment Program to provide additional services to eligible members of the tribe. 6, Transportation Department, $300,000 for the Transportation Department to continue and or complete ongoing projects. 7, Finance, $36,000 for staff training. 8, AOA, $20,000 for the operation of elder activities, including elder trips, respite, and lawn services. C, Judicial Branch. Under the general budget in the annual budget, the Judicial Branch shall include an increased appropriation of $150,000 to be used for salaries, office space, equipment, supplies, consultants, legal counsel, and employees and or contract services for clerks, bailiffs, prosecutors, public defenders, jail bed space, pro tem judges, and related expenditures necessary for the operation of the courts and the judicial branch of government. D, Legislative Branch. Under the general budget in the annual budget, the legislative branch shall include an increased appropriation of $194,000 to be used for salaries, office space, equipment, supplies, employees, consultants, legal counsel, and other related expenditures necessary for the operation of the legislature and legislative branch of government. E, Kiowa Indian Council. Under the general budget of the annual budget, the Kiowa Indian Council shall include an increased appropriation of $10,000 to be used for salaries, office space, equipment, supplies, consultants, and other related expenditures necessary for the operation of the Kiowa Indian Council. Section 1.5, final approval by the voters. Within 30 days of approval of this budget, modification number 1 by the legislature and chairman pursuant to the legislative process in Article 6, Section 8 of the Constitution, the Election Commission shall call and conduct a special election for the voters to decide whether to approve budget modification number 1.
Thank you, Anita, for that, and thank you, Rhonda. As you heard, all 4 branches are involved in this. The executive branch has the largest part. 3 items are grants, The $90,000 for the water line, or the infrastructure of Head Start is, to my knowledge, has not been determined yet. I may be wrong on that. On May 13th, the first module will be set up and in place at the Lawton, Fort Sill Indian School grounds. It must be hooked into the water line. We knew this a year and a half ago, that monies would be needed for that water line. So we are putting $90,000 out of a cash budget of $700,000 for that help on that water line. If it should cost more, then we'll try to seek more money. All other things such as the Election Commission, Social Services, Alcohol, the Finance, and the AOA monies are cash monies we have identified from this table. So our Judicial Branch is included. We're eight months in, and we need to move forward with the Judicial Branch. And so all of this budget is for basically, it'll take 60 days to get a vote. So once you vote on it, it's for basically can be used up through June 30th, 2018. So this is additional money for the Judicial Branch and all these other branches in this period that will be ending the fiscal year. So about 5 months, probably 3 months by time, if there's an approval. We have $50,051,280, I believe that was in the Judicial Branch already, based on the original budget. So this gives the Judicial about $200,000 to start setting up a court, getting a court clerk, establishing the whole thing. We cannot give the Judicial Branch a permanent home, so we must look for somewhere secure. And I don't see the security on the complex grounds. The judge will be a part of this because the Judicial Branch, manages their own branch. So we will, if passed and approved, we'll immediately give our interim judge Mark Hendrickson, and he can speak with his colleagues or plan in this time to get the judicial court up and running for the tribe. So moving on to our branch, we're in dire need of legal fees. We've had to use our budget, our own budget that was passed for legal fees. We were under the impression that the legal fees were on the tribal budget to be shared by both branches. We have since been informed that the executive branch claims all those legal fees, so we in turn must also have legal fees. On the next budget, which the legislature 2019 will be prepared by us, I will have a line item for legal fees in our budget, and the chairman or the executive branch should do the same. So we also need a little bit of equipment in there, other things that we need, because what we've done is depleted in some areas all line items to pay our judge. So we're going to have a problem at the end where we're going to have a problem. So the KIC, the executive branch, or the budget that was given us given to us originally for 2018 by the executive branch determined that the KIC in this time period only would receive $5,000 as startup. We're going to give them an additional $10,000 to be used for whatever they need to use it for. So and this would be,
And this is for what, 5 months?
this
4
will
months?
be the next 5 months. By the time this is approved, we'll be to the annual meeting. So if there is approval. So we ask for support for like discussion on this table. This was a concentrated effort, hard work at this table to get this modification and to determine where the monies were, the cash monies, and then to include the grants that have not been included, which to firm up that process, and so that we are operating with consistency, that we're going to do what the Constitution says. So it's been hard work. We delayed it last month. We could not identify monies and all the grants. We delayed it, and so it's here now. It involves a special election. It also goes to the chairman's office for a veto or approval, and then it will come back to us in 10 days. There's a 10-day limit on that. So discussion from the table, if anybody wants to include a statement but this was very hard work on this table here, my legislative table, to get to this 1.9 million 51 this budget $1,951,706 budget. So is there any discussion on the table or from the audience, or is there any?
I want to make a comment.
All right, thank you.
This effort by the entire legislature was a new thing for all of us, and it was a cooperative effort by each one, and it was pretty hard to do. It seemed like it just kind of easy, but it was not an easy task. It was very difficult because of decision making and trying to do the best that we could do for placing money where we felt like it was most needed. And we had to think of the children, the elders, and people in need with their daily living. And so that's kind of what was our guide in placing the money for the Kiowa tribe, and I just have to give each one of these legislatures a pat on the back, because each one gave of themselves and gave their best effort in doing this. And I really have to give a big thank you to Renee for her relentless efforts in seeking and making phone calls and just not giving up and pursuing, finding that extra dollar, that extra money to put into this budget, because there's just not people just ready to hand money to put into this modification. It had to be asked for and sought out, and She made that extra effort, made phone call after phone call, and did a lot of talking. And we're fortunate as a tribe to have her sitting here to give her ability to talk. So thank you, fellow legislators, for all the things that you did and to get this budget modification. It was a late night effort last night. We were here till after dark, and really want to thank Tracy, because Tracy hung in there with us till it was late.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you. I also want to say that we had invited the executive branch to come in and to discuss with us if they wanted to add to this, and this is why we included $36,000 for training on the operating system, basically, with the CFO. He did come in and he did give us a little information on the finance department and what's going on. So the treasurer appeared. I think he left during that. Did not really hear anything, although he's just been appointed in the past few days. And then, so we did ask the executive branch to come in and talk to us about this modification, but and we did get information from the CFO. So we do feel like $36,000 is probably not enough for the training that might be needed in that office, but it's certainly a start. And so maybe within the next couple months, if this is approved by the tribe, then they can get the updates to the operating system. They have been without a CFO for at least 3 years, I want to say. So it's been very, that team in there. And then some of that team was not here when we came into the office of KBC. And then we brought several people back to that team. So Mr. Walkenny, the CFO, was telling us that, there's been updates to the operating system and they need training. So in the original budget, there was not that much training money available. So this will add to their money, their funds, and hopefully help them in getting into what I call the 21st century. We're still sitting in the 20th century. And to me, I think that's everybody's wish, that we become current with the business technology available to the tribe. Of course, we need money. It's baby steps, but this legislature wants to help and do the best for the tribe. I thank each of you personally on the legislature for the struggle, especially yesterday, because all week this has been on our mind, and we came together last night, and I was very proud of them. Anybody else?
Yes. You might guide me on this, Renee. On this section 1.5, I do have a question. Okay. If you could read this, just between you and me for right now, because I'm just wondering. It says this, but then my question is.
No.
No.
This is not part of it.
That's
We call it, it will happen. Is that part same
Yeah,
thing?
that's-
Yeah. Is there any more discussion? Do I have anything from the audience? If not, we'll, okay, yes, Miss Rhonda.
Okay. I just wanted to remind everybody that this is a modification to the original budget that we had, that had passed before for this year. And this is to add additional funds to these different programs. Want to address alcohol and drug treatment program. We gave them an extra $10,000. They didn't ask for it and they didn't express that they needed it, but we felt that a lot of these people that go to the alcohol and drug treatment program, some of them are homeless. Some of them, they don't have any money. They're in poverty and they don't really have the funds, to go to expensive treatment programs. And we just wanted to make sure that there is going to be funds available for everyone that wants rehabilitation or other programs, or that the KDAP has, that funds would be available for these programs, because there's a need out there. I know in the Anadarko area, I've seen a lot of homeless people, and it seems like the generation between high school and if they're not going to college or training or anything, there's really nothing for them to do in Anadarko. And I've seen more and more people that don't live at home, or they don't have a place to go to, and it's just really kind of depressing, to see people that are in that category, especially in the wintertime. It's so cold. I just read one of my relatives that lives in Anadarko is being treated for frostbite right now, and he's homeless. And it's just kind of heartbreaking to see. See these people like that don't have homes. They don't have homes to go to. They stay in cellars, or they stay, wherever they can lay their head. I pray for these people every day. I pray that the Lord would give them a warm place to lay their heads and food to eat, because a lot of them don't have food, and they scrounge around. They go and fix things for the sale barn that they have on Thursdays. They'll fix bikes, or they'll fix, whatever they can find, and try to sell these at the food barn. I mean, at the sale barn, so that they can have a little money to eat. Some of them are alcoholics and drug addicts, but not all of them are. They just don't have anywhere to go. They may have problems at home. I know that there's kids at Riverside don't even want to go back to their homes because they have alcoholic parents. They have drug addicted parents. They have abusive home lives, so they don't even want to go back to their homes. They want to stay there at Riverside. The same is true in the area too. In the Anadarko area, different areas, that we see. And so I really, I would like to have given more, to the alcohol and drug treatment program. And I think we need to, if Chairman would let us, to get more involved in asking what type of help and assistance is needed in our Kiowa alcohol and drug treatment program. And anyway, I just wanted to express that's why we gave them some. They didn't express the need, but I think we need to research that more and try to fund them more in our next annual 2019 budget.
Thank you, Rhonda.
And let me add to the Kiowa Indian Council. We gave them an extra 10. They'd only given them 5,000, but we gave them an extra 10,000 to tide them over for the next 4 or 5 months. But in 2019, we plan to give them, maybe double that at least. So anyway, that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for your message too. We have a passionate legislative body here, branch. And I concur with what Rhonda says. It's winter time. It's a very cold day today. I don't see these people normally in Anadarko, but I know my mom, we've had family members. So my mom, in her younger days, would drive around and knew them all and would take food. And I'm sure there's other people that help them out, but things are harder now. It's not easy when you're on the street, and who knows how many are veterans out there or what's going on. So as Rhonda said, this was an area that we wanted to just put a little funds in so that they are remembered in some way. The whole tribe needs money, every single department. And so our priority was the ones that people talk about, the children, the elders, those that need help in social services, the alcohol programs. Basically, those are the people we're trying to help today. It took a minute to get the arrangements for any type of funds, and then to find out which grants had not been approved. So that took a couple months to find that out. So once you know some money's there, I had to move fast on this table because we don't want anybody to change their mind about that. So if there's no more discussion, if there's nobody in the audience, yes, Ramona?
I have a question.
What is it, dear?
This is really a serious issue.
The drug and alcohol?
Well, it seems like that the government always has a way to provide certain services and certain departments and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And this affects so many people, and especially now with this drug thing that's just hit our nation
Mm-hmm.
like a storm. But my heart goes out to you. I don't know why it couldn't be that people that volunteer could be a body of a group of people that could find a place somewhere. It wouldn't be off the grid, but more downtown type thing. But a volunteer group of people that would be willing to have accessible ability for people that could come to them and express their needs in town in Anadarko. There's got to be a building, somewhere, some way, somehow that could be funded for volunteers that could help get these people into what they need. And this is very serious with your family because my father was an alcoholic and it hits really hard. But years ago, there was nobody that could provide services, but there's so many people that want to volunteer. So if money's an issue, they could direct these people to these funds or whatever services they need. And basically, I would see that could be a real avenue until money was generated for this cause, because this is very serious. And it's sad to say that a lot of people don't realize what might be available to them unless somebody tells them.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't mean to bring up the Cobell settlement for these people, 700 or whatever people that had never been able to be notified. But I think Modina's made a tremendous progress on this. But what I'm saying is there's things that can be done to help the people that you're speaking about. And it's very, very sad that they're having frostbite of all things. And with the government supposedly giving so much money out to programs, why can't there be an avenue that we can delve into that will get something generated for Anadarko?
Well, that that is a good question. Right now, our audits are, we have not completed one audit. Is 2014 is sitting on the table, and so funding is very difficult when you're not producing what should have been produced. So we know this, we know there was a malfunction. They're working hard on 2014, it is still not completed. So I don't know where we're gonna wind up. But, you know, even the community, you know, when it's so cold out, there should be somewhere
That's what I'm
they
saying.
open up.
Yeah.
I believe,
That's what I'm saying.
you know, the church is just so people, because it's bitter cold.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah.
So, and this is all across the country. It's sad.
I know, but
It's sad.
this is the point of the location I'm concerned about.
Yes,
And the country
exactly.
is getting a lot
Exactly.
of money for people to come in here illegally.
Mhm.
And they just got through passing a budget in the government for these people, and they're illegal. But this is the people that I'm concerned with. And I still think that there's got to be an avenue of volunteer. People are always wanting to volunteer, and I hate to put myself in a category, but my generation would be a way to start. Is the people, you know, around my age that have, you know, they just want to give to the community, the Indian people, and you know, like I said, this touches home to me because of my dad, and
I would like to see a 40-room facility with individual
Bed-
rooms in there,
some kind
you
of
know, so
bedding.
they could have a place
at night,
to sleep and a place to eat a meal,
yeah.
you know.
To me, it's got to be something that can be generated for these people, and if you put it like I said off the grid, they're not going to have the transportation, and you know, to go to these places. But if it's more in the general vicinity of basically where you're speaking about, it would be easy or easier. I'll just not easy, but easier to get to that place. And it seems like there's got to be a solution of some kind to help these people. Well, in the summer it's a little different, but like you say, in the winter, frostbite, that's terrible. People can lose their feet or whatever. I mean, you know, this is terrible. This has got to be addressed somehow, some way, I don't know. There's got to be a solution.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Ms. Ramona. I feel still, if there's no more discussion on the table, I'd like to move forward with the motion to approve first budget modification to the annual budget appropriation for fiscal year 2017-18. So I've made that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Anita. Is there any more discussion on the table? If there is none, call the vote, Rhonda, please.
Renee Plata,
Yes.
Rhonda Ihady, yes. Ron Kula,
Yes.
Dave Gillisell,
Yes.
Dina Uncle Johnson,
Yes.
Medina Waters,
Yes.
Ben Wolf,
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstains, 0 absent, motion carries.
Thank you. We will, as soon as possible, get this to the chairman for his approval or disapproval. The next item on the agenda is new business, number 7. And just to let the tribe know, on the Carnegie Casino, we have heard from the National Indian Gaming Commission. The Gaming Commission has actually heard from the Regional Director, Tom Cunningham, that it's a go for Carnegie Casino, that we can open. This facility has been closed for 20 years. I don't know how long, really. I don't know that true history on everything that happened way back when. So the Duval Casino and KCOA is actively updating that casino. It's revenue for the tribe. We will hopefully not owe a penny when it's done. or completed. That is the goal with the Red River Casino, that they come out of it not owing anything towards the casino. So I have heard early March, which is right down the road, for a grand opening. Hopefully that everything goes well and we see that. So that is an announcement. I wanted the tribe to know, trying to get a timeline there. We don't have a firm one, but we do have approval from the National Indian Gaming Commission. And that's a success from what happened long ago with that casino. So I'm very happy with that, and that it's another little move for the tribe to move forward. And thank the KCOA and whoever. The tribe is doing some, the transportation department is doing some work there, and they may have completed it. I'm not sure. I haven't gone by the casino, but today I'll probably take a run over there because I heard a lot of movement there yesterday, but we were locked in this office. So any other new business anybody wants to say, or I'll move on to other. If there's nothing other, I would like to know if there's, okay. Okay, under other, Miss Modena Waters.
Okay, tomorrow morning on February 11th, I will travel to Washington, D.C., arriving there around 1:10 for the NCAI meeting. However, I'm going to first meet with approximately 17 Kiowa tribal members there for a meeting and a meal. So that would be much like a community meeting for the Washington, D.C. Kiowas. And my feedback from Dennis Zotai, who's helping organize this, is real helpful. So I appreciate any of the people in District 7 who really pitch in when we plan community meetings, because they always seem very helpful in offering how can we help this meeting take place. So I just want to mention I appreciate the organizers in other communities like Tulsa. There was Hank Bible, who just pitched in to put a wonderful KICE community meeting together in Oklahoma City. There were Mary Helen Deere, and I just want to acknowledge that there are people in these different District 7 communities that pitch in. It's not just left up to me, so I appreciate the help. So we will discuss some topics of interest with the people the Kiowas that show up at the Washington, D.C. Community meeting. I look forward to that. Taking lots of materials in the event they want to discuss any of those, and we'll just have handouts for them. And I thank the KCOA for sponsoring the meal for the Washington, D.C. crowd, meaning the Kiowas. And that's it. Oh yeah, I forgot. Following that meeting and meal tomorrow evening, of course, I'm there for the NCAI conference, and I will make my visits there to the different discussions and pick up lots more information and handouts.
Modena attended the National Indian Conference Association, the annual meeting, along with myself, Anita, Rhonda, and Ben in Milwaukee. She will be our representative because she can connect with the District 7. None of us felt like we should go to this meeting, very expensive. So Modena will represent us there and connect with some District 7 Kiowas in Washington. I'd say this is historic, never happened before. We understand the chairman and vice chairman will be up there possibly at this meeting, dinner with the community members up there. There's 17 that have been identified. So moving on to, I believe Ms. Rhonda wants to make an announcement.
After this meeting, we'll be having a District 2 community meeting. It's primarily for Dave Adigimasaddle's KIC group. And so we'll be having that up here at the AOA at 1 o'clock. However, we're having a meal, lunch before that. So it's supposed to start around 11:30, close to 12, and we'll eat lunch until 1. Everybody's invited. We're going to have pasoli, skillet bread, a side dish, some homemade cobblers. So anybody who wants to come to this District 2 meeting, you're more than welcome to come. And we'll have someone from the KCOA that can answer any questions regarding the casino and upcoming Carney Casino and any others. Any questions you have. We'll also have Dave Adigimasaddle, who will be asking the KIC for ideas on issues and resolutions. So if you've got any questions for her, as well as to the legislative branch, we'll be up there we'll come at 12 and have lunch with us, and then we'll meet at 1. So that's my announcement.
What day is it?
It's today.
Oh, today?
Today.
We're having that following this.
Saturday.
So come to lunch with
Oh,
us.
come to
And
lunch.
we're gonna have a
I
meeting
also would
breakfast
like to say in announcements
next Saturday.
that next Saturday, the Apache District has not had a meeting. We don't have a representative of that district yet. It's District 3. We will have a breakfast that morning next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 at the Maseki Church. They're in Apache on the curve, I believe it is, the strong curve coming out of Apache on, is that the north side?
South
So
side.
the south side, we're going the wrong way. Okay, we also have at District 1, that's still on.
19th, yeah.
Dave has arranged at the Kiowa Housing to have the meeting in Anadarko for District 1. We're trying to help the KIC coordinator who is gathering the resolutions, even from Washington. I believe, I don't know that Modena will carry those or that they'll already be. DeBetta must have those resolutions by the 21st. And so we're trying to help her. We've recently been in Lawton. We were in Lawton last week, and we were also out at the Mount Scott Kiowa Indian Church sometimes earlier in the month or late. So we're trying to have this so that DeVetta can connect with the community and kind of guide them along. This is we were also at Hobart on Tuesday night. Wonderful meeting there. I thank Ben Wolf. Community was great. We had a great meeting there. So those are our announcements. Are there anything else?
Was it Mr. Zinke from the Trump administration?
Yes. Have you received a paper on that?
What day was it?
Well, I know I have a paper on my, actually, it was the 18th of January. We did not know that he was coming.
Oh, really?
John Dasuda is his assistant,
At Washington DC?
and he's Kiowa.
Okay.
So we did not know about this. We had short notice. We had been up in Oklahoma City for the KCOA financial meeting and the construction meeting. We were called. Only 3 of us could attend that night. We were basically only invited to the reception. We were not invited to meet with them. It was the executive branch.
With Matt Kamalki?
Matt met with them, I believe the vice chairman, the executive director, and then the housing director, and there was another convention. I forget who else was the other, the lawyer for the executive branch, so. It was Ryland Rivas. So 2 Comanches were in that meeting with them. Heard it was on the trust land and stuff. We had no application in with the BIA at that time. So we really, I don't know if it was just Mr. Dasuda coming through Oklahoma, showing Mr. Zinke around. We will get you a newspaper on
Okay.
that. I believe I have one
So,
sitting on my desk.
Was that progress to be associated with the Trump administration on this Mr. Zinke? I can't think what his first name is. Ryan Zinke?
Afterwards, there
Is
was a
he
little,
Department of Interior? or-
he is the top.
Oh, he's the
He's
top.
under the cabinet, named by, the present, administration in Washington.
Your president.
Your president,
Trump? Mr. Trump?
yes.
Really? So what was, is he gonna be able to help the Kiowa tribe by coming here to this conference?
Well, we were not invited. I would hope so. Actually,
Wouldn't that be a reason to come to Carnegie? I would hope.
he did sign a fee to trust for the Eastern
Really?
Shawnees up in, Mary Phalin's at the Capitol Hill. With the Chickasaw, chief on the other side, so we're not sure.
But it's.
Where we did meet him, we did take a photo with Mr. Zinke and John Dasuda, but that's, we did have conversation, but we were not included.
But don't you think that's a start?
Anything is a start.
It's better than.
They were actually on our grounds
Yeah.
and,
I think
I
for
think it's-
security reasons, they were kind of limited. It was kind of like, we'll be there in an hour.
Oh, yeah, well,
so,
They had BIAs all over here, didn't they? I wouldn't hear.
the police, yes,
Yeah,
they were
had a lot of
escorted
security.
in. They did have a reception up at the Elders Center.
okay,
John Dasuda
yeah.
spoke, and so did Mr. Zinke on cooperation. So we'll see what that transpires from that.
Well, maybe there could be some contact in the future for funds. Just
And
what-
even exactly.
See, that's why,
E,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
Like her
yes,
concern,
yes.
and it's everyone's concern, but funds, what I'm saying is, that would be great.
Yes.
And-
So there is a connection to
Yeah.
that, and so we're aware of that.
Yeah.
And Mr. Dasuda being Kiowa
Right, that's why.
is a great thing. We met him in Milwaukee.
Oh, were you
went
at your meeting?
where we went to the National Indian
Right.
Congress, where Modina's going to the winter session. Very expensive. We share money equally at this table to travel, but it's up to everybody to determine where they want to go individually. I'm not gonna exactly, tell somebody they have to go
Right,
somewhere.
right.
The interest, but, we do speak of this, but I don't choose to spend my money to go up there for that meeting at this time. There's another meeting coming up in Kansas
Oh,
City.
Okay,
I'll even drive. Me and Anita had thought sharing a room. We're gonna do
Well-
what we can to conserve and spread ourselves out. Rhonda's hanging on to her travel money right now.
Right.
She
I would like to, for a group of us, to go out to Southern California. There's a lot of Kiowas out there. A lot of Kiowas, and that's like my second home. That's like Ben's second home. Dave Gimmelsettle, second home. Davetta,
40 years.
her second home.
30 years.
And whoever else wants to go. But they're having a big powwow, I think, in March, middle of March at Long Beach. There's a lot of
Really?
Kiowas that go there.
a
Really?
lot of time was so
Yeah, so we were thinking about trying to have a community meeting.
Yeah.
Modena would have to go. She's our
Yeah.
district legislator.
Thank you for saying
Yeah, I'm
that.
sorry. Yeah, she would definitely have to go. We would be
Keeps having
going.
to
We would be
remind
going
us.
with her.
Well, the
You
thing,
know.
thing I want to express, and I'm sorry if I interrupt, but the thought that's going through my mind, I guess I'm using education as an avenue to try to get this information that I'm trying to, to try to explain. But the squeaky wheel, I hate to say that, but my mother's always one of these people, the squeaky wheel gets greased. And right now, is what I'm saying is if this Mr. Zinke came all the way to here, to the complex, with your representative, I guess it is, for the Kiowa tribe, what I'm saying is right now would be a great time to put in some input in what's needed, see, for the Kiowa tribe. I mean, like I said, squeaky wheel gets greased, but Modena has done a fantastic job with
Yes,
these
she
people
has.
that need to be contacted with the co-bill. And to me, that's a wonderful thing.
yes.
But why not try to do that with this funding issue that you have? And especially with your need, and get it started, is what I'm saying. Just get this started, and it might branch out to some real success. And if they're interested in coming here, is what I'm saying, is he was interested.
Well, you know what? Actually, Anita and I had planned to go to Washington,
Really?
D.C.
Great.
for
Great.
basically 1 day, 2
Yes.
days,
Uh-huh.
1 night stay,
Uh-huh.
share a room so we can
Wouldn't that be
conserve.
wonderful?
But we did not get the meeting confirmed that we needed to speak to those people about actually the judicial funds. So I wasn't able to go that way. It did not work out. We are not going because we had determined if we are unable, because those people's agendas are already filled
Oh.
up because of the next
Oh.
Congress. And, you have to start early.
Oh,
So,
really?
There's an
Just-
application process
Yeah.
and
Oh,
a
really?
protocol.
Waste of time?
had I known
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
this,
All of
I
this.
found out about it when they came through the entourage that surrounded them, the press.
Okay,
They have
okay.
their own people, so we connected
Right.
while the meeting was going on.
Oh, you did?
We're talking in the background.
Well,
So they told us the process, but they also told us it may be already, that we couldn't. So with IFD thing, Anita and I, we're not going at this point. Perhaps it'll come up
yeah,
again.
maybe,
Um, But we'll see. It's not the end.
Yeah,
Everything, we
good.
have so much on our agenda. I mean, there could be somewhere else we connect
Right.
down the road. So we're
Exactly.
always listening.
yes,
We're,
that's wonderful.
And then I have 150,000 to start the court. If it's
Really?
approved by the people. So that is, urging everybody to speak in support of this. I would like to know before we close, Mr. Keith, do we have any questions
I have a
off the
comment.
internet?
I want to add
Okay.
something.
All right.
Regarding the Washington DC area Kiowas, Mr. Tasuda was invited to join us at our dinner.
Good,
Is
good.
it coming?
We haven't had
Oh, thank you.
confirmation.
Wow, thanks.
Okay.
So,
So,
I'm
perhaps he will at the last minute come, up there. That is the opening day And there's certain things, going on there. So I'm sure his, when we went to Milwaukee, we heard him speak in the convention hall, and we just thought, he was way up there, we're back here, and we just thought, let's send a message
Right.
for Kiowa, for the legislature. Can you come and take a
Right.
picture? Immediately, we watched, and immediately his whole group came down.
Isn't that wonderful?
So it was great. It was great that we were able to connect with him, and that when he heard Kiowa's, he immediately came.
That's
So,
wonderful. Yeah.
We'll see what the future holds.
Yes.
So to go back to Mr. Keith, were there any comments? Not mean
Questions?
comments or questions. But we still don't have this process good. In the new budget, we will identify monies. We will be doing that budget, this legislative team branch. The budget was due on February 1st from the executive branch. We do not have a budget. We understand they will submit a late one, but the budget is turned to the legislature once they didn't meet that guideline on the 1st. So we will be doing that budget, and so I don't want to say I look forward to it, but in a way I look forward to it because we'll determine the funding on it. We will, as I said, we used the chairman's budget that we denied last time, about 85% of it, but I will not do the budget blindly. This is some of the money that we need in the legislative branch, because I will have expert help. I cannot do that budget and operate blindly. I cannot do a budget where I do not speak to the directors of the tribe. So I feel like we will do that will happen. But
Can I add
we'll
a
split
comment
and
to
see.
that, or she goes to? They just now fill some key positions as executive branch, like your treasurer, your CFO, and those positions, compliance officer, those positions that were really necessary. And that might have delayed them, I don't know. I really don't, but I probably would suspect that they didn't have key people in there to provide us. They knew about our schedules of what was necessary to get everything to the people for approval.
all right, is there any other? Thank you, Mr. Dave.
Real quick.
I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to thank the Kiowas of District 6 for the support for the meeting the other night. In regards to Mr. Zinke, there is a video on the Kiowa Tribal site if you're interested.
On the iPad?
Yeah, you can get it.
Really?
Under the Kiowa tribe, you could get all the meetings.
And there's videos of that meeting with Mr. Zinke.
I think
Really?
this particular meeting is on Kiowa Solutions. On
The
Basin
Zinke-
Kiowa.
It's
No,
also-
your district set.
It's under the Kiowa Tribal website. If you go
I
to
didn't- I
governments
couldn't
and then
find
you go
it
to the
under there.
video
I
section,
seen it on
and
my
then
phone
you can
this
come to
morning,
it.
and I
It
just
is on there.
popped
and Mr.
Two
Keith,
different
you guys over there, y'all can,
Oh.
you have that information.
What'd you say that website was?
Kiowa Tribe.
Where I was watching it.
.com?
Are you?
.org.
.org?
We kind of,
You can go to government
Government
and then to video,
video, really?
and you'll find it there.
Okay.
and a lot of that is out there.
And
Sometimes it pops up on my
Really?
phone. In fact, this morning it did. His
Oh.
meeting, I looked in and I'm sitting there. What? And but I didn't look at it. I've never looked at any of them,
That's
as
also
time.
on Kiowa Track Facebook
But-
page. What is the Kiowa Track Facebook
Thank
page? You'll be able to see all the videos. that we
So I understand they're all available. People can look at them if they're not
No, it's
here.
just the Kiowa Track
I-
Facebook.
Oh,
I've heard they freeze, or there might be where you can't hear. That's why we need more, a better perhaps system. since we move around to the meetings, I would like, perhaps this, the PR group to have that, equipment
Right.
to give us a better meeting. And I don't know what that equipment is yet, but, we'll find out for the budget.
I just wanted,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to finish up to thanking Western Technology Center over there in Hobart for the meeting, but also on, this past week on Monday, I had gone into the AOA Center and, a lot of the elders from this district around, I just wanted to apologize to them. I told them that, well, they had some questions, comments, and concerns, and they brought it to my attention. I asked them if they would write them down and give me a list, and I would come by and pick them up on Friday. However, I forgot that they don't have lunch on Friday, they have breakfast, and we were in here, so I didn't get to make it over there. But again, I know you guys are aware, Rhonda announced her meeting, it is, and I saw the flyers on the table, so please, just want to remind you, bring your list, Rhonda will be there, and I just know we all appreciate all you, the elders, for your support and for your interest and your questions and comments and concerns regarding to the legislative branch. So anyway, thank you, and that's it.
Thank you. Anybody
you.
else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn. I second it.
All right,
Get it in.
call the vote.
Renee Klein,
Yes.
Rhonda Ahady, yes. Ron Pulloff,
Yes.
Dave Gilsells,
Yes.
Anita Uncle Johnson,
Yes.
Modena Waters,
Yes.
Ben Wolf.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn is 7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstaining, 0 absent. Motion carries.
It's 11:05 a.m. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you to our guests who are here. We have
Come
some
over and eat with us.
refreshments if you want to help yourself
Meet
before you
Candace with
leave.
us up there.
How are you?
I tell you what, I think this has been an awesome meeting. I mean, it's just, I hate to keep bringing this up as a school teacher, but you're getting the A+ girl. All
Well,
of
my
these
whole
people,
team.
everybody A+.
Yes.
I mean, have you noticed the difference in the motivated opinion and the progress that you're making? My goodness, from the time we first came to the first meeting versus now,
Really, were we?
this is just.
Did we have socks in our mouth at that time?